Okay, let's first off say, I'm going to try not to speak so loudly because the microphone on this remote camera is terrible. But the first thing I wanted to say is if you're watching this video, thank you so much for buying the pattern. I really appreciate it. The shirt is the shirt's got the camera hanging off the collar, but we're going to make this work. Yes, and if you need a beer to make you more relaxed while you're working with some of this stuff, you go right ahead. No one's going to bother you. First thing I wanted to take a moment to mention was why I make sure that you have so many long tails when you cast on. You leave a lot of space, and when you're done and you, like this is the leg, you cut a very long piece of string. First thing we're going to do is we're going to fold it with the right side facing, and we're going to take that long tail that we used for the cast on, and we're going to sew up the heel. Now I generally like to go a few stitches back just to make it more square, and just start sewing them up. Still trying to get my bearings. That's why I wanted to start with something as simple as this. If you hear Philip question me or talk in the background, he probably doesn't realize I'm filming. But that's okay, because I love him anyway. He just gave me a look. He's not awake yet. Alright, and then the last one we're just going to knot. So that's going to ensure that our heel is never ever going to come apart, ever. Alright, next we're going to go to our last row that we knit, and we're going to take it off the needle on the purl side. Okay? Again, I'm trying to get my bearings. Pull them all through. I know it seems like a lot of yarn, but trust me, life is better if you've got too much rather than not enough.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So we're going to fold again, right side facing. We're going to go through the middle. Let's see if you can see this here. Through the middle, right there. Give it like 3 or 4 stitches down from the cast off. Pull it through. Take your first stitch, sew it together like that, then turn it back right side out. So we got makings of a foot, and I usually just pinch it. I'm not sure exactly what the name of this stitch is called. I think some people call it a mattress stitch, but you just go, here we go through each of those stitches just like that. I'm hoping you can see this. Hold on, let's get us some light. There we go. Much better. See if I can adjust this camera. Yeah, again, sorry about the sucky sound quality. Yeah, I think y'all just heard me burp. Anyway. So we're going to keep that going until we get to the very end. And we're going to leave approximately, if this were one color, you would leave about an inch, but since it's two-tone, we're going to stop right there so that we have a place to fill. And we're going to use that piece from before when we attach the second color to sew it up exactly like we're sewing it up here. That's it. Now let's move on to embroidering the face. Again, I like to use a very long piece of string. Basically what I do is pull it from my finger to my shoulder 3 times, and that's how much I use. I don't use all of it, but I use enough of it so that I don't have to worry about running out of yarn. And it's one strand to make the nose and the eyes and the mouth. And we're going to come from underneath because we're going to hide all of our dirty work down there. So if you notice, when you are making the pattern, you can see where your first 9 here are. You can see this hole, looks like something of a crater. we're going to use that as our guide. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is come from underneath, and we're going to come out about midway. And we're going to pull it until we have about, it's about 2 inches left underneath. We're going to go and hit the crater on the other side exactly at the same spot. We're going to go through and then come back out the hole that we started from. And basically, we're just going to go back and forth, layering them one on top of the other, not on top, but layering up as we go back and forth. There's some magic in here I can't wait to show you. It just depends on how many times you decide you want to go to determine this is the right nose for your little dude. And we're almost there, actually. So this is what? That was 3, I'd say. Now this is number 4. Number 5. Alright, and then I start just kind of, let's see, here we go, there we are. And then I start just kind of pressing to see where the eyes are going to be. You can start to see it already starting to shape up. Okay, so you're always going to be thinking about the next place you're coming out of as you start to go with the mouth and the eyes. So what I like to do is take this double-pointed needle and kind of decide that's the center and just kind of slide it in there as a guide. Trust me, if you try to do it by sight, you always end up one side over or one side over. So start that there, like we had done before, except come through the point where the double-pointed needle is. Pull the needle out. All right. We've got the shapings of a mouth. I'm going to go up 1 stitch just to hide it underneath the nose. There we go. Let's see, we go down. This is all up to you. If you go down further, it's all expression from this point on. But I like to go down just a touch. It looks like maybe 2 stitches. Go in and then come out at an angle that would either make him smile or morose. It's all up to you. This is your dude. Yeah, and then I decide, yeah, that's about right. So if that looks about right, we're going to go ahead and enter through the bottom of the mouth and go back in the corresponding side over here. Let's just double check. Yeah, that's about right. That's what I want. Go back into the mouth, and then we're going to come out over here, about an angle about right to here to start the eye. There we go. Kind of layer it over, and go about two stitches over at an angle. Come out again the corresponding side. Sometimes I have to do this more than once because sometimes it doesn't match up the way I want it to. We're going to go ahead and, whoops, sorry about that. We're going to go ahead and check it out. And then layer it over to see if they match up. Yeah, they match up pretty damn well. So now let's go one more over. So I'm just going to kind of just go one more stitch. Yeah, that's right. Now let's go in again, 2 stitches, and we're going to come back and come out at the bottom of the first eye. And we're going to do that 3 times back and forth. Don't do it taut at this point. Don't pull on it. Let it just rest there. See, that's number 2. We're going through the bottom of the other eye. And back through the top. Then back to the other one at the bottom. That was 2. So now here's 3. And after the third one, we're going to do like a quick bobble to make his eye pop. So basically we're going to go in here, but instead of coming out here, we're going to come back out through here again. So we're just going to go in, under, and out. Then go back into the top, and go back to the other side and repeat. Okay. And make our little bobble. Except this time we're going to come out through the bottom near the middle where we started from. Okay, almost there. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to tie all this up so that that embroidery cannot come out. Tie it like that. Good 2 or 3 knots. Like I said, we're going to hide our madness underneath. No one's ever going to see it. And we're going to snip it off. There you go. It's just enough. Now, here's where the magic and the shaping begins. I love this part. Back here is where we stuffed it from. And again, you leave a long, long piece because we're going to need this piece. Let's thread our needle. Take a sip of beer first. Okay. Thread the needle. We're going to close up this opened hole, just going in a couple of stitches and just closing it up, which is knots basically, just over and over and over again, until you're confident that the hole is completely closed and will not open. Okay, now when you're done with that, you feel like you've got enough, it's not going to open up anymore, take this needle and go through the head, and you're going to come out here. I guess you would call that the tear duct. Excuse me. Yeah. Don't overlap it. Just come right through that corner. Pull it all the way out, and we're going to go through the bottom corner and come out the bottom. So let's go through the bottom corner, come through the bottom, and start tugging. Uh-oh, I screwed up. Oh, I see, okay. What did I do? I knotted myself, excuse me. Well, shit. There we go. Unknotted. Okay, so through the bottom corner, pull, give it a tug. You're underneath. Go maybe a couple stitches over because you're going to come out of the bottom of this eye and through the top of this one. So you go there, see? Then through the, again, I guess the tear duct. And then we're going to come out the bottom of the other one. Give you a quick shot. Now we're going to do a figure 8 again, but this time through the top. And when we go through the tear duct this time, we're going to go through the bottom. And you can start to see him shaping up. It's giving his indentations, his nose bridge. Yeah. And every once in a while I like to do maybe 1 or 2 more, just to give it, like right here, there's a slight bit. If I pull that down in, it'll give his eyes more of a wideness. So I'll just do that. And I'm going to do, yeah, 1 more to the other side. So if you wanted his eyes closer together, you could just go the figure 8 and just start pulling as you do until you just get the right frame of what it is you're looking for. And then when you're done, come out through the bottom again, go through a couple of stitches, and just start knotting and tying it off. There we go. We've embroidered his nose, eyes, and mouth. That's adorable. Cheers. Next up, we're going to attach everything. Again, I'm going to apologize for our very poor production quality here because, you know, we are a very DIY organization. We're very independent. We don't have swirling cameras and stuff. But there's our little teddy bear head. We're going to put his ears on now. So basically what I like to do is right along the corner, that line, that's where the bottom of the ear should go. And I really don't like to go too farther than maybe half an inch or so, maybe 3/4 away from the eye to attach the ear. So let's see how this works. I'm trying to watch myself on film and attach a teddy bear's ear at the same time. Okay. Okay. All right, so first thing we're going to do is go behind into the head and the first 2 stitches like that. And that's pretty much the theme all the way across. Go through the first 2. Don't go into the head. Just go under the first 2. Come under the ear. And then go through the ear. Maybe about 2 stitches up. If you go to the first stitch, you're going to end up with a gaping holes all the way across because you're hitting the cast off. And you want to avoid that. So again, go through 2 stitches behind. Don't go into the head though. Just go under the ear and through the ear, about 2 stitches up. And I like to keep fanning it out as I go to make sure that it's, you know, not all crumpled up like this. It's kind of full out like that. So let's just go ahead and you get the idea. But at the end of the ear, there's something I want to show you. See, this is why it's okay to have a beer while you do these things. To relax you. I'm just grateful I haven't burped on camera yet. Alright, keep fanning it out. Go behind 2. Under the ear. Through the ear. 2 stitches up. And when we get to the very end, it's about here. Okay. This last corner, we're going to go through. And then we're going to go over. We're going to pull the yarn over and go about 1 stitch or so over. See how it pulls it tight? And we're going to go through there, come out the bottom, and anchor it so that this ear cannot go anywhere. Like we did before, we're going to do a couple of knots under a couple of stitches right in the center underneath so that we can hide our madness. There we go. Looking good. Just snip this off. Don't go too close, but you know. Alright, I'll put on the other one and then we'll get to putting on the body. Hey buddy. Alright. So we've got our cute little bear head. He's got his little ears on. Isn't that adorable? Come on, look at that. That was nothing. That was just a simple finesse. And if you're sitting here watching and going, Gregory Patrick, that was way too much, just slow it down, try it again. You can get it. It's all a question of practice and time and patience. So let's put the body on now. Okay. Now, I think you're now starting to realize and see why I use so many of these long, like this was the end of this piece, but rather than cutting it close, leave a long piece because we're going to use this to sew to the head again, so you don't have a third random piece of yarn or string that you're using to attach. If everybody is together and everybody is, you know, solidly in one piece, this bear will not fall apart. So like we did with the head, we're going to close up the hole we used to stuff in exactly the same way we did the head, just going back and forth through the stitches until we're confident that it's closed. I could ask Philip to come over here and just hold the camera, but he's busy on Facebook being our social media king. Y'all have seen our show. You know what's up. Okay, so that's probably good enough. Now, when I'm done, I'm going to go right about, what is that, from the center, maybe half an inch. Maybe. If that much. roughly, circa. We're going to take our little bear head. Now, we're going to go up through the bottom. We're going to go through every stitch like so. Through them. Not in and then back out, but before we hit the polyfill. Because if we hit the polyfill, it'll start coming out. So we go under 2 stitches at a time from the right to the left. Now the first one, do not pull taut. Just let it rest. Go to the bottom. 2 stitches underneath, but not through, underneath the stitches. Then you can pull it taut. And just go all the way around. Usually about the time you get to the side, I start pulling it towards, well, I start moving the, damn camera, moving this up to the angle of the front so I can see it better. Start looking down, go, okay, we're going to go through here. And try to get as close to your madness as possible. That should be a philosophy of life. Through the bottom 2. And just go all the way around. Again, when you get to this point here, you want to stay as close as possible so he has a chin. You don't want it too close to the mouth. Just stay right about your madness. Look at all the life lessons we're learning today. Stay close to the madness. And then, of course, is why I am Madman Knitting. Just bear with me. We're going to go all the way around. Come all the way around. And at this point, we're going to hit the bottom 2 stitches one last time. Go through. And then, right about right there, we're going to go through and we're going to come out the bottom. Okay. Pull the whole thing out. Then we are going to anchor it under 1 stitch, knotting it a couple of times. Don't worry, no one will see it. I've done this 3,000 plus times. You can't see it. Keep knotting until it's finally secure and there's no more slack. That's about right. Now we're going to go back through and come out the back, and we're going to give it a nice tug. Like, seriously, pull it taut, get as close as you can, snip it, and it's going to fall back in. So, with that 1 strand that we used from this piece of yarn is attached around here, anchored here, brought down here, anchored here 3 or 4 times, and then brought back up through and snipped. So that head is not going anywhere. Okay, let's get to the legs. First thing I wanted to mention about when you're stuffing the arms and legs, don't attach them until you have them both complete and both stuffed so that you can see that they're the same size. Same amount of stuffing, all of that jazz. You don't want to have one on here that's big and the other one gimpy. Can't do that. Okay. So we leave this space in the middle, or excuse me, at the very bottom, that 1 inch I was telling you about to stuff it with. We're just going to close that up like we had done here. But again, I have to show this to you. There's a trick here. Let's take this, thread our needle. We're going to do like we did before. Pinch it. Go through the first 2. If you do it right, you should have this really nice solid line. It's a seam. Who cares? Alright, when we get to the last stitch, okay, we're going to knot this as well. So basically we're going to pull it all the way through and then just knot it. We're going to go through the heel back here, or the ankle, excuse me, and then come out up here at the top. Okay? Let's go ahead and do that. Let's try it about there. It's about 1 or 2 stitches from the, of course, pull this back into place through needle. There. Okay, it's about 1 or 2 stitches from the center, and it's pretty much in the middle. Now, in your pattern, if you're looking here, these are where your increases ended, and these are where your increases begin. Or excuse me, your increases increases ended. Decreases begin. Sorry. But this is the line I want you to follow. And go straight down from just along the ear to where your increases ended, and you started to just knit in the round, and stick it right there. And as we did, like the head, through 2 stitches, not into the body, but just underneath the 2 stitches. Don't pull it taut the first time. Let it focus, let the camera focus, let it rest, and then go through the top 2 here on the leg, and then you can pull it taut and go all the way around. And again, when I get to pretty much where it's starting to turn, I just turn the whole thing over. And again, you can pretty much keep in check, yeah, my leg and my ear are pretty much still in the same line. Bloody camera. Now, when we've made our way all the way around, we want to make sure that we end the last 2 stitches on the bottom, because we're going to go through there and we're going to come out at the seam behind. So go like we have, and then again through about right there, come out at the seam, and again start anchoring just only through like 1 loop in the seam, knotting again and again in the same stitch. And then like we did with the body, we're going to go back through, oops, just come out here, give it a nice tug, bam, we have a leg, and that leg is not going anywhere. If you recall, that one strand that was done when we knit the piece was used to not only sew it together, but then come through and attach it here all around the body, then was anchored here, then pulled back through here. There is no way this leg is ever coming off. Okay? You had to have a little violent child that comes after it with a pair of scissors before it actually comes off on its own. So we'll just do the other one exactly the same as we did this one. Okay, so much like we discussed about the legs, the arms are the same, don't attach them until they've both been sewn up and they've both been stuffed, so you can see that you have the right amount of stuffing to make them even. And again, we have our opening that we use to stuff it. It's about 1 inch. We're going to do it just like we did with the leg. But here's something I wanted to show you though. Because there isn't a different schematic or a different pattern for left side and right side, I'm going to show you how you fix that. It's very simple, my friends, very simple. Knitting does not have to be complicated. It can actually be really simple. You can use the one piece, and actually when you make an arm in the tiger, that's also the tail as well. You make a third one for the tail. So anyway, we're going to go and sew this up. Okay. Alright, so we have this. If we were going to attach it on the, I guess you would say this side, okay? We'd go ahead and start sewing much like we did the leg, almost exactly the same philosophy with the seam in the back. Now, if we're going to go on this side, you can't do that because the seam would be the front. So all you do, it's so simple. It's just bring the yarn to the other side, boop, and attach it from this side like we would the leg with the seam in the back. Genius. Genius. There are a couple other things I wanted to show you. If we were to be making the lion, you would take, let's see what I got here. We're going to pretend this is a skein of the Fisherman's Wool from Lion's brand. Use about 3 fingers like here, okay? Keep them closed. And wrap the skein over and over and over and over and over again about 50 to 60 times, okay? Now, once you have that, like so, basically, let me show you again. Bottom is even. La 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 la. La la. You come under here and cut it so all the pieces are even. Then take one of those pieces, get your crochet hook, fold the piece in half, take it to the head, go under 2 like we were sewing, okay, crochet hook under, grab that loop, pull it through, and then pull these through pieces through like so. Then you just work all the way around, if this was the lion, and all the way behind the ear until you're back up here again. And then to fray it, just take your sewing needle and start splitting the yarn. Just put it in there and just start ripping it to pieces. And they usually go about once every 2, like this would be the next one, this would be the next one, this would be the next one, because the fraying will help fill that space. Same with the tiger. If we were not using, let's say if this were the tiger, in order to get his whiskers, again, you use your crochet hook here in the corner, put it in like so, and grab your little loop, pull it through, grab it again, both strands, pull them out, and start fraying them, cut them to the size that you want, and you have your whiskers. That's it. Thank you so much for buying the pattern, but thank you for tolerating this tutorial. Again, if it's not completely explanatory to you, just let me know and I'll help you through it. But man, you've seen our show, you know how we get around here. Enjoy. Bye.